Welcome back, friends, to EU League. Game number 2 is about to begin. Team Secret versus Outsiders. And let's fill you in on all the details you need to get this show started. Welcome back to the Analyst Desk. I'm Ostamedic, your host. With me are Fresh and our guest for the next couple weeks, Mr. Ollie Exartroika Hatton. Is that how you say it?
Full name treatment.
Full name again.
Harry Demo Dempster, Ollie Exartroika Hatton. So there you go. That's how we're doing it in here, Mr. Jackson. Let's go through with our Team Secret versus Outsiders. Let's start off with Team Secret. What can you tell me about them, Ollie?
Team Secret for me, night and day difference compared to last stage.
Yes.
You've got to look at the pickups that they've made. They've brought in Grubby, they've brought in Astro, they've brought in Twister as the coach, and it has fully transformed the team. They're already sat on 4 points. They only got 9 points in the entirety of stage 2. So on paper, you've got to look at this team and you have to be hopeful about what they have to bring.
I think the one thing that doesn't get talked about enough with this team is we talk about the players in, like you said, they brought in Grubby and Astro, but actually Savage. If you look at Savage, when they picked Savage up for stage 2, he was the thinker main, he was the front man, and he's actually dropped into the backline. He's playing a lot of SMG 11, particularly on the defense, to try and accommodate these boys and be a team player. And it really does feel like a team this time. In previous iterations of Team Secret, it's felt like a collection, a collection of individuals that are trying to kind of be forged together. Now it feels like much more of a team with an actual identity, like we say, under Twister's guidance as well. And they've genuinely impressed.
I've been loving kind of going through Twister's Instagram stories and saying, oh, they're practicing. They got their Discord, stream up between one another so they can talk about strategies and how to set it up. It is wonderful. I don't know if Twister will be moving to Europe at some point, but that would be lovely. If you ask me, that will bring him closer to home. Now, our colleague,
we love
Jack,
Twister.
We love a bit of Twister. Marlon is a wonderful fellow. But moving on to their opponents, and since you're already here, I want you to talk about your favorite team, Outsiders, Jack.
Oh, absolutely my favorite team. And you know what? I actually want to talk about Outsiders in the context of this meta. This meta gets talked about as the flexibility meta, and Outsiders are really pushing it because they've got a very different brand of Siege to a lot of teams that play in the current meta. They play very slow, very passive, very test the execute and execute themselves. And genuinely, I don't think it's the best style of Siege to play inside of this meta, but it frustrates the life out of teams. It frustrated the life out of M&M when Outsiders beat them. It frustrated the life out of BDS last week when Outsiders took them all the way to 14 rounds on BDS's best map. They have this way of picking up rounds and picking up wins where other teams tend to struggle against it. It's a very hard game plan, a game style to play against. And they've obviously got some really good players, bringing in Dan, bringing in Always, and we know the quality that Milan, Pasha and Rask already have as well.
Absolutely, and it's that frustration, I think, that starts to let teams undo themselves. And often it'll be a case of, you need the team to make a lot of mistakes for Outsiders to be able to capitalise on those mistakes, especially when they're looking at forcing the clock and really working that down either in their favour or at their opponent's detriment. And again, it doesn't quite come down to as one-man teamy as what we were talking about with TT9, but still, Dan, I just feel like he needs a little bit more assistance.
It's been great seeing Joystick behind them when they're in game. That's kind of a flashback for all of us. Great player in so many ways. So we're wondering how maybe we get to talk to Joystick himself. If you're looking at me, Outsiders, so I'm just requesting it officially to you here. You can have a chat with him. Not that I love sitting down and talking to Dan, but I talk to everybody. There's some great people on there. But let's talk about the map pool for this matchup. Again, one map. It's the best of one series. That's how it works. And we're left with Outsiders in the final choice. They'll take out Border and take us to Clubhouse. Again, wow, 2 Russian teams going to Clubhouse. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think maybe actually a little bit surprised on Team Secret. I had this pinned as a Border, and maybe Team Secret did. Both teams have not banned it this stage. Both teams love the map. But Outsiders, we saw last week just how prolific they are on Clubhouse, starting off on the defense. And they managed to frustrate the life out of BDS on this map in terms of their defenses. They built in a lot of redundancies, a lot of layers in their defense, and they're very passive. They'll fall off them. And it's not uncommon that you'll see 5v5, 30 seconds left with this team. So Secret needs to be aware not to fall into that trap for me.
This is probably one of the more iconic maps to think about time and clock, because you think about those 5-man drops, those 5-man executes, those bloodbaths in Church and Arsenal that you do regularly get. We've just seen it with Navi, and I think you throw that into the context of this game, and all of a sudden Secret are going to be pushed up against the clock on both directions. So for Outsiders, probably the best choice they could have made.
Is this something that Secret can do now. Push up against outsiders and get this victory because, both teams are locked in at 4 points, right? There's potential for one to go over the other. And if you're either one of the two, you're looking for all 3 points in the series.
Yeah, I think for Secret, they probably will have been aware. When Secret played Outsiders in Stage 2, that they really fell into the frustrations and the traps that Outsiders set. So I think Secret this week, they should have been working on, working on their cheesy plays with Milos, working on little bits of rush strategies, how they can get aggressive early dots, how they can start unlocking outsiders. Because like I say, they should be an easy team to pick off, but teams generally really do end up getting trapped in it and then getting very frustrated by it.
And Secret is still one of the more sort of structured sides. You've only got to look at the statistics to really realise that Kendry's got 5 plants down in 3 play days. That's still a support player. That's still very plant orientated. It isn't quite taking full advantage of the flexibility meta that we're currently in. But with that young side comes opportunities to learn. And if there's something that Twister's very experienced with, it's working with a young and less experienced group of players, because that's what he did with Furia. And he took those to, I think Furia are only just going to miss out on the first LAN since goodness knows when this time round for November. And you look at that, they've lost Twister. So there's got to be some sort of correlation there. There really is. And if Twister's got some ability, it is to work with those lesser experienced players. So for Secret, it really is all just a growing period.
I'll be very happy if we see more Ratty Kendru plays, which is something I loved in Stage 2 very much. So, hey, who knows if we get it back today. But our lobby is ready. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for filling us in. Secret versus Outsiders. Toss it to our casters. Stay nice. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milos. Welcome back for game 2 of the day. Outsiders versus Secret. Another one in my books, Tim, that actually is really hard to predict today.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's the same as we said last time around. You've got a couple of lower placed teams, but they're in and around the same region. So I would expect, again, another fantastic matchup.
One of those that even the audience feel a bit split on. 53% leaning towards Secret, 47% of you towards Outsiders. I'm just living for Fresh, being not so sold on Outsiders normally, and now being forced to predict for them. Everyone here, I think, going for Outsiders in the talent team. Let's see how things shape up as they start out on the defensive side of Clubhouse, and they kick off our ban phase.
Let's see who we've got coming in then, doubling down on Clubhouse for us. Des, not a bad thing. I quite enjoy the map anyway, so we can live with that.
To be fair, when I said to Fresh, because he checks it out before, he's just like, I was like, what map are we going to? He's like, Clubhouse, Clubhouse. So I was just like, again? He was like, yeah. And I was like, man.
I mean, variety is the spice of life, Des,
It is.
But it's not the worst map if we have to have a couple in.
All right, Tim, let's say you've been negative. What's your worst map to cast?
My worst map
What does
to
not
cast?
tickle your fancy?
I
like all the maps.
I do love all of them.
Of course you do.
Out of the current list, out of the current list, I'd probably say Theme Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I quite like a theme. I don't enjoy a border. Yeah, Easy's with me, see. He's on the comms with us for this game. And
I think Border's a reasonable shout as well. That can be a little... I don't mind one a night, but Border can be a little bit repetitive. It's a small map, so you do get very similar over and over again. Some funky bands
I was just about to say, yeah, what the hell are those bands? I turned away to look at your beautiful head for a few seconds, just to admire the shine on it, and then I turned back around, and Thermite's been banned away. What's that all about?
Freshly shaved for you today is the head.
Oh, love it, mate, honestly.
Did it just before coming on air. Little shave of the head.
It's not really shaved, though. You've still got hair.
Well, yeah. I don't know what you'd call it then.
Trim, probably.
Okay, we had a fresh trim.
Better, see?
Came on
Much better, you beautiful man. Right, we're into things. Starting off down in the basement, so not quite bad. In fact, across the 3 teams we've seen defend so far tonight on this map, we've had different sites in the first one. We had Gym and Bedroom coming out of Na'Vi. We had Cash CC coming out of TT9. And then here, we've got ourselves down in the basement, so different rotations across 3 teams. But one thing that always seems to be pretty present is a roam up on the top floor when defending down in the basement. And that's exactly what Outsiders have ran for. Always even bringing out a mirror window for a hold up inside Gym Bedroom. I love it.
Okay then.
I know, right?
I love a bit of mirror play. I do. I've said this before. We don't see an awful lot of mirror. When we started seeing the increase in mirror bans about 18 months ago, even when she's available, we don't see a lot, and it's because teams just get used to playing without her, and they find strategies that they think are superior, and so we don't see her brought anyway. But when we do, I absolutely love the mirror play. She came along in Year 2 Season 1. It was Velvet Shell, and she was transformational for competitive Siege. For many bomb sites, it made them viable where they weren't before, and that strength remains. So yeah, I love to see mirror, and we'll see just what impact she has on this round. Always is on the downstairs at the moment.
They're already out.
That mirror window at the minute, it's a little bit of phantom pressure because they've just completely dropped away. Des.
I imagine they've drawn most of it as well. And I decided to go and have a dig, by the way, as to why the Thermite ban came through. Look back at the game last week from Outsiders when they played against BDS on this map. Rask, in the vast majority of attacking rounds, did play Thermite, did also play Maverick. We know that they can bring along Ace as well, as we saw, I think it was Dan doing in the first attacking round they had. So there is a little bit of variety there in terms of what hard breaches they can bring. So I don't know how much it's going to bother them, but we'll see exactly how things change when we get into that second half where Outsiders are on the attack.
So we're going to start working those vertical angles with the book. Could go down all 3 levels if he wants to from that top floor, and can start opening up underneath as well. Going to get himself down to bathroom for the time being. He'll start opening up those angles that we see plenty of. Take out the default cam. Ooh, manages to bait out the nitro as well. That's not the end of the world for them. That's a bit of a result.
Yeah, probably a bit of a read where they thought, okay, he's blown out one hole. He'll step to the right and open up another, and the C4 was ready and waiting. Speaking of waiting, always is... I always get nervous when someone's looking to C4 over an electrified wall, because just for the tiniest little misplacement and it's getting zapped. They're looking for it here, I think, to maybe try and find a sledge as he steps across, or potentially one in towards the bottom of main stairs. Either way, looking to secure a freebie at the start of the round. A little bit nervous about the clock here as well. Yes, we've done a lot of the swinging away for the soft flooring, but not yet looked for a spot to pick up any real kills or to start getting hatches opened up. So for now, at least, Outsiders, with 35 seconds to go, are in a good spot. That is a lot of damage with the direct hit onto Savage.
I love this Milon getting really active underneath that kitchen hatch, just, looking to get aggressive. Always is going to, manages to catch his man, finds Astro. Savage, however, does find Milon to level things up. 4v4 Team Secret, a lot of work to do here. Kendry manages to find the hole through the Maverick and get the kill onto Always. Can head inside. Opportunity to get the diffuser down potentially here. That's exactly what he's going to go for. Very deep, though, if they can push into Church. That position at the bottom of main stairs has become very, very important, but I don't think that Outsiders were aware the diffuser was going down. They certainly couldn't get to it to impact. A couple of kills coming from Savage, and right now Team Secret, they are looking golden inside of round 1. Diffuser down 3v1. Surely this is a matter of time until they find the last, and it is Kendrew, the man who got the diffuser down to lock things out in round 1. Team Secret take the win.
I mean, if I'm being honest, that shouldn't have been allowed to happen. The pressure applied by Secret was rather minimal. Sure, they had the vertical holes opened up, but kitchen hatch wasn't open, so they didn't get the nice long angles that you can challenge all the way through into AKs from there. They didn't have the church wall opened up. They did enough to get a kill in there, but couldn't open the full thing up. So Kendra had to go for the full sprint, as we saw, through Moto, through the middle of sight, and took himself behind the bar to make the plan happen. And the only real support that he had was, well, Savage watching the double door, or the long angle being watched from the bottom of main stairs. So really there, I feel like Outsiders are giving away a little bit too much to Team Secret. Fair play that Secret have made it work, but again, hatches weren't opened up. They didn't have control of Church Wall. That wasn't really opened up either, just a tiny little bit. And it feels like Outsiders are giving them a little bit of a freebie there. So fair play Secret, but Outsiders, you should have done far better than that on the first defense.
Up to the top floor we go. It's going to be Gym and Bedroom. Outsiders, I think, recognising what you're saying there, Des. You know, they should have done better with that defence and not really wanting to double down on those mistakes. They're going to move away, try things differently. We don't... Interestingly, so we bring the mirror along for the Church Arsenal defence and we play it up on the bathroom wall. We then don't make any use of it whatsoever for Outsiders. And then we go to Gym and Bedroom, where the mirror wall could probably be a little bit more impactful, and we don't bring it along.
Yeah, there. That was...
Yeah!
I mean, we had it. There was intent. It's just they abandoned it pretty damn quickly. But I think here they're probably more concerned about the thought of nades come flying in, for example. And I wasn't too sure initially about the intent behind this. I think it's more in case they're worried about the mini EMPs coming through, which is not going to be the plan because instead it's Groovy playing on the Twitch that has the shock drones on side. Of course, the Maverick from Kendrew also getting to work here as well, showing that this is the reason, arguably, why they've also banned away the Thermite. They feel that outsiders rely on it, whereas they, Secret this is, are very comfortable playing with something like the Maverick instead.
Yeah, we see a lot fewer of the Maverick hard breaching attempts recently, and in honesty, it's because he's had his nades taken away. We see a lot less Maverick play, but the Maverick breaches in EU particularly have dropped off quite a bit. But Kendrew's still bringing him along there and getting the job done very, very quickly. To be fair, that was pretty much inside the first minute.
Timing.
The jacuzzi wall was opened up, so well played from Secret. They've got themselves access into the East Breach. They can get themselves into CCTV, start working on cash, and they've got jacuzzi wall as well, so not going too bad at the minute. They just need to make sure that they don't lose their momentum in the round.
What a world we're in when bulletproof cameras can fight back as well. Just stunned out the shock drone as it was about to get the bulletproof, pinged it out, and it got freebie killed by Always, I believe it was, that swung in. Still, this jacuzzi wall is opened up, and this is the time for Secret to charge on through. Groovy, the point man, looking to find his one man, sees the Jaeger but can't find the kills. It's 3 quick ones coming back for Outsiders. Groovy, he does get one, but immediately traded out. Slevin, the last one left standing, will find one, but he's got 75 seconds here to work with, and 3 players still to bring down.
He's got time on his side, but look at that. He's going right into a bulletproof cam. They know exactly where he is. He's going to take it down, but it doesn't remove the information. That's it. It's too late. It doesn't remove that information. He tries to bait out a potential difference by knocking the window out. Maybe he's gone out through there, but they're not going to be shaken here. Outsiders ready with a shotgun. Wampum does the job on the construction door, and that's going to be round 2 to Outsiders. And just as we expected, this could be a close matchup.
Beautiful bit of bitterness there as well, and that final kill coming from a shotgun that had the Team Secret Esports skin on it. So just one of those small things that I looked at and was like, okay, very cute. So as it stands, Outsiders realise round 1, we gave away what we shouldn't have given away. Round 2, much more composed. They deal with the big pushing from Jacuzzi. Secret looking to employ... It's the kind of play you'd see out of teams, like I've always said, like Wolves and Rogue, where they move as a unit, they try and push in for 3 or 4 kills at the same time. Instead, it was the defenders picking up those 3 kills, and suddenly the round was essentially over. So good hold. Now we get to try the downstairs once again, hopefully where Outsiders have revised their ideas a little bit and come out a little bit stronger.
We're going to be back down, as you say, with those revised ideas. See whether Team Secret have got more answers. Managed to get the plant in unusual circumstances last time around, I think it's fair to say. Kendrew going in through Moto door, but still getting it down behind the bar. There was the whole sort of half opened up by the Maverick. It was just all a little bit unorthodox. We'll see if we get a more straightforward plant from them this time. They're going to be playing into mirror windows rather than up on the top floor. Always this time around deploying them down on that bottom floor, so they're going to be more directly useful to them. We'll see again how that impacts Team Secret's push. Do they still go towards that side, or do they work alternatively in towards kitchen, for example?
Midland's done well to get out of there alive with 2 players looking to threaten him inside of construction. He's down to about 70 HP or so did still pay at least for a little bit of damage there to get himself out again. And now by the looks of it, Secret probably want to try and get some more focus across this top floor. Keep on forcing the back. Ruby trying to come in for the side stab, almost loses his life, down to about 15 HP. So far for Outsiders, some good poking and prodding coming in, but Secret undeterred as of yet.
Dan just holding a tight angle through to kitchen there, just really not wanting to allow Team Secret to really take any ground here. Groovy going to open that door up, and it does force Dan away a little bit. He's going to head himself back down to site, but this is pretty quick from Team Secret in terms of getting control. It's not ideal for them that Groovy is such low health at this point, but with only 1 minute and 15 gone, they've got control of the top 2 floors now. They can start the drones towards basement. So that's essentially, when we look at Around the Siege as a 3-step process. Step 1 is gaining the map control that you need. That's complete now for Team Secret. Step 2 they move on to, which is effectively softening up the site. It's clearing out the utility. It's preparing that execution spot. And then step 3 is that final step, going in and getting the diffuser down. So right now, Team Secret just transitioning step 1 to step 2. And there's plenty of work for them to do on site. They haven't got any kills yet, and watch your utility to burn.
McKendry was still in 14 rounds in his back pocket. I imagine we're looking in towards things like kitchen hatch there, just 2 at a time, chaining it up as that C4 almost found his man. But I don't think they'll be able to do anything about this one. Pasha coming in to try and get rid of some of these. I think the C4 is coming out to try and get rid of either the player or potentially the ex-Kairos that were down. But they will connect, they will go off. Hatches this time have been the focus for Team Secret. They are opened up. They've got this longer angle through to AKs like I spoke about earlier on. Things are looking like an air quotes much more normal attack.
Andrew moves in, going to get himself to look at potentially dropping here. I think he's definitely thinking about the execution. 30 seconds left to go, and they're going to have to. You know, they can't just dither around site forevermore. They need to get themselves in. Dan, he's lurking, looking for that opportunity to open one up through the hatch. Doesn't find his man, and we have a lot of utility raining in here. That full white flash might just save a life as Kendrew goes in and tries to get the diffuser down. He's going to be successful. Des Savage does manage to find Pasha. Kendrew bites the dust, but not before he gets the diffuser planted, and Savage has the vertical. But there, oh, what a beautiful angle he manages to find on his man. Rask does hit Sleben, but it's 2v3 now, and with vertical superiority, that just might be the difference maker for Team Secret.
What are they doing? You have to send, oh my word, Astro! Normally, as the defenders, you have to send 2 players on the retake, if not 3 on the upstairs. But they've stood around like lemons and let themselves get absolutely destroyed to the stage that Dan can do nothing but look on helplessly at the diffuser as the close comes in from above. Secret taking another round.
Great round from Secret there. 30 seconds left to go. Kendrew takes the opportunity to get himself inside the site. There's some good cover. That first shot in the post plant from Savage as well. Such a tight angle through the girders there in the floor, just to manage to find his way down onto the player trying to disable that diffuser. Really well played. And then, like you said, as I feel like Outsiders maybe gave Team Secret a little bit of that round towards the end there. They just got caught sort of just looking at each other effectively with no real idea of who's going, who's not. Let's all just go together.
What are they doing? Like, there's 4 players stood there like, I guess we watched him try and disable it to make sure he doesn't press the wrong button. But like I said, that's the kind of moment when you send 2, 3 players upstairs to get the vertical hold. You know there's no one downstairs, really. You just want to get the control of the upstairs. So truthfully, a massive slip by Outsiders. Most teams would go for the retake, and maybe I'm labouring a point here a bit too much, but again, another round they'll look at and go, we probably should have been able to stop that.
As you said, you got to work together. You have to work together in that situation. And the thing is, I think the frustration, without labouring on the point, the frustration is there's nobody from the attacking side inside of side.
That's what I mean.
So what are 3 of you going to do inside of side? Nothing. You have to get out of there. You've got to get out of there, and you've got to take that vertical superiority. Is it a good option? No, absolutely not. Is it going to be easy? No, absolutely not. Is it necessary? Yes, 100%.
That's exactly it. And that's one more point, was there's no real challenge to worry about on the lateral plane, so focus on the vertical one, get upstairs. But let's put it to one side. Secret did do a good job of getting that one down. Kendrew spotting the opportunity, and they managed to make it work. I always feel bad, you know, Playday is a player for BDS that always does exactly the same. You kind of become the sacrificial lamb that has to go there and just hold F for dear life and pray to God that you don't get shot before you finish off on the diffuser, because as soon as you have, there are 2 or 3 players swinging you. There's C4 coming in. It's just a very thankless task to be in that spot.
Here we go then, round 4 it will be, and we're going to see Team Secret really need this round for me. They don't want to keep allowing Outsiders back into things. You know, they want to start really making that advantage tell. It's going to be CCTV and Cash that they are attacking onto, so maybe a little bit more straightforward than we've seen previously. Milon just trying a dirty little angle there. Is he going to find his man? Kendrew knows he's there, and he flips himself around. It's one that I always like to refer to as the Pino angle. It was a favourite of Pino back in the day on Consulate, particularly. He'd just rat underneath those windows and find so many kills onto those unawares repellers. But Kendrew, he was alert to the danger and gets away with his life.
He does for now at the very least. Yep, Savage, nade in hand, looking to try and force some players away here, although we'll probably find there's no one really there. I think instead was looking for the bulletproof from Milon that normally stats up behind the TVs on the office bench just across the way. Still not 100% sure of exactly where players are, but they've got themselves inside. Astro has gone for the cross, and he's killed 2 players in his journey in towards Catwalk, and that could be all the control that they need to get themselves up to 3-1.
Certainly could be. 4 versus 2. 50 seconds left to go. Rask needs a big moment here, either him or Pasha. It's Rask that's found the kills so far in the game. Pasha has been quiet from the top of red. He's going to be playing a waiting game at this point, just looking for anybody trying to push in through that breach. But to be honest, Secret don't really need to. So I would suggest Pasha on the smoke might be in a better position were he to move himself into cash, where he can loot those toxic babe canisters, the one that's remaining at least, over the top to try and impact and stop that flank going down at least. From red stairs, he's going to find it very difficult. Secret have got one on the rappel on outside of breach, and they're just going to hold that angle. They're not going to push in. Kendrew, there comes that toxic babe canister. What? Kendrew, push forward, not sideways. He's going to find himself down, and that one toxic babe canister could do the job, but 3v1, Rask is holding on. Somehow Groovy gets the kill, Des!
What on earth is going on?
I don't know what the end of that round was.
Lord. Oh. I mean, you saw the intent, right? I know what Kendra was trying to do. The smoke was so well placed. Like, okay, fair play. I really thought he'd just go for it and try and get through the breach and go for a default plant, unless he was terrified about the smoke extending to that default spot. But the fact that it comes down to, what, a 3K, almost a 4K at the end for the last man. I didn't even see who it was. The last man left standing for Outsiders, and then goes for the swing onto Groovy. Ah! Killer. Again, around the Outsiders probably would say, in hindsight, a small change in decision-making towards the end, we could still be in this. Secret have played well, but I guarantee you Outsiders in their own heads are thinking, we should be at least 3-1 up right now.
Gym and bedroom. Gym and bedroom we go back to.
Honestly.
It feels far more back and forth than 3-1 at the minute. I think Secret are doing well to keep themselves in the lead here. They have been the better team, I will agree with that.
Yeah.
But there have been moments, particularly in that last round, where Outsiders could have won it. You know, we could be in a very different situation.
The thing is, Tim, what I think I really like about it is, truthfully, the differentiating factor is decision-making. You know, look at the rounds where we said for Outsiders, okay, that last round there. Heat at the moment, I understand, sure. You swung a player when really you could have probably stayed crouched down and still managed to get the time going. That would have been fine. In the previous round, the choice to not send players to go and rotate back upstairs, another great example. It keeps on coming down to this decision-making deficit almost that Outsiders are showing in these rounds. Otherwise, again, they'd probably find themselves with a couple of rounds more on the board.
We're underway with 30 seconds in. Kendrew straight away. And this is what I like from Secret. I've commented on it already. The speed with which they've been doing things. Not mucking about. Again, 30 seconds in. That Selma charge is detonating on the breach. It's going to allow access into cache CCTV. And Outsiders are going to find themselves under pressure very quickly. That's been happening round after round. So Outsiders, as this game goes on, if Secret can keep that pace up in the early rounds, Outsiders could potentially become fatigued because they're just under pressure so consistently for so much time, quite frequently. So for the time being, Kendrew, he's going to get himself over onto Jacuzzi now. He's honestly doing some real work on this hard breach option of the Maverick. He's you know, going at a real pace for Secret here.
I think every single time I've seen him on screen, he's got the blowtorch in his hand. His whole focus has been getting these walls opened up. Probably means now they want Groovy over there to impact it open. There we go. Once it's been softened up, of course, you've still got to remove the soft wall, I guess, that's still on the other side of the reinforcement. So that's dealt with. Secret have their way in towards site. And let's not forget, last time around they tried to make that big push in through Jacuzzi. They lost 3 players in very quick succession.
Sleben's just holding that angle. I think he's hoping for somebody to overextend, but it's unlikely to happen. Kendrew does manage to find Mill on though with a nice headshot. Groovy's gone in, as you say, manages to find Dan, but the trades come back and forward here. Savage and Kendrew dropping along the way. Pasha with a double. I said that he's been a little bit quiet so far, but he manages to make his mark in this round. Rask manages to find Sleben, and all of a sudden, Des, inside of about 15 seconds, this round bounces back and forward and becomes a 1v3 that becomes a 1v2 as Astro, he finds Rask. He's going to have to find his way into outer space if he wants to be winning this one. He's going to have to go into orbit because it's not going to be easy against Always and Pasha, who are just going to try to lock this down now.
My main concern is they aren't watching the same angle together here. He can isolate 2 separate 1v1s if he plays this intelligently. Has got himself in, expected to find someone hanging around behind the chassis, but it's simply not the case. He doesn't have the diffuser, which is... Oh, no! That could have been the crouch angle he needed to get inside the other side, recover the diffuser, and make this a little more dicey. Now he's pushing around, potentially coming into a swing here. Finds one, but Does he find the last on the main stairs? No, he doesn't. He's down about 5 HP. He has no idea, but always ready and waiting. He's just daring him to charge forward. He ignores the main stairs. Instead, going to try and look for a potential plant. It suspects the man's on the downstairs. Would be wrong, at least for now, but he's got to go for the plant. Always, surely here's this going down. Has got 3 seconds to plant this one off, though. If he wins this one, it is going to be ludicrous. He plants it down. Does he turn around? Does he know that Always is behind him? He hears the man, but can he find him? No, he can't. It's Always to get the kill. And Outsiders hang on, and again, what was very nearly a lost round.
Really well played from Always there. I love what he's done. Just played that so cautiously and patiently at the end there. Understanding, showing a great understanding of the game clock. Just forcing that position. He maybe gave Astro a little bit too much breathing space. You know, there is a world where maybe Astro hits a lucky headshot there, gets himself over the line. But overall, you always felt like Always was in control of that situation. Well played for Outsiders, keeping themselves in this.
Whew. Okay. This is turning into one of those games.
We said it was going to be close, Des.
Yeah, but this is not. This doesn't feel like the pretty kind of close, if you get me.
Oh no, but do you not like a bit of dirty close?
I'm still recovering from Sandbox versus Fav in APAC North a couple of weeks ago, Tim. I'm not ready.
I'm here for the chaos, Des. You know me, outside of game.
Hang on a minute. You're here for the chaos?
No. Outside of game, you constantly laugh at me. You know that, I love the organisation. I love a straightforward life. It's you that brings the chaos. But in-game, you know that I love it. I indulge myself in your lifestyle.
Your eyes have just been opened to a world of chaos, Tim, and you're loving life now. That's it.
That's exactly it.
As I turn around and you're sat in absolute darkness and only your bald head is illuminated on the screen.
I feel attacked.
I tell you what, it is great just being able to catch like out of context Tim. I turn around and you just sat there. It's brilliant. I think Ollie's got
Ollie
caught a pretty unkind picture of you earlier, I believe.
Did he?
Yeah. I think you were digging for something inside your gob, I think, mate.
Yeah, very possibly. Very possibly does.
I'll find out if he's got the picture later. Either way, let's see if we can end with a picture-perfect half here for one of these two teams. I'm sure Secret fancying themselves to take the 4 and 2, but Outsiders, where they found the most success has been on that German bedroom site. When we've had Secret try and steam their way forwards, that's where they've managed to bite back and get a few kills in response. This one starts out well. It's Astro, the almost clutcher to be in the previous round, being taken out.
They're going to do well here, Outsiders, if they manage to hang on to the coattails of Team Secret. Secret have felt like the better team for the majority, but then you've got to start asking those questions. If Outsiders come out with a 3-3 half, what's going to happen in the second half? Secret, are they going to be able to find any more momentum on the defence, or will that be all that Outsiders need? But there is a long round to go yet. 4 versus 5, but Team Secret have got control of the top 2 floors. However, there is a man out in Strip, and Kendra, he's having a look at the minute, but I'm not sure that Secret are aware of Dan here. He's going to take pot shots through the wall that's been opened up. He's just intending to play his life here. We've seen this. It's usually from the North American teams, TSM particularly. Yeah. You play the man out in Strip, and he's basically there to burn his life, but to burn as much time as he can, and maybe a life or two whilst he's active.
The call comes in. The swing from 2 directions. Where does he look? He looks out towards Paul first, but when you've got 2 men trying to pinch onto you like that, it can be really hard to respond. Good use of the DKB as well to make sure that his location was known at all times.
It was a good attempt, but it did give Team Secret the opportunity to level things up. And on this site, we quite often see the attacks coming down to the last 10 seconds or so. So it's not going to be the end of the world for Team Secret in terms of the time that has been burnt. Dan really needed to hold on for a bit longer, but Team Secret made it very difficult for him to do so. So 50 seconds left. The one thing that I would say particularly good for Outsiders at the minute, as much as Team Secret do have time here, Outsiders are really well spread inside a site. They've got presence on both default plant spots, and it's not going to be easy for Secret. They're going to have to move players if they want any opportunity. Pasha, he manages to get the kill onto Groovy, and meanwhile Milon manages almost to find the one in Kitchen, but can't quite get it done. 3v4, 25 seconds.
Like I said for Kendra, the swing, always in a great position as well. Kendra hits the deck, but it's just too late. There is no cover. There was no call, and he may have just ended this round for Secret to guarantee Outsiders the 3-3 half that they were seeking.
That's pretty much the job done here. As you say, Outsiders, they're going to be very thankful at this point, I'd have thought, to be coming away like that. Savage knows there's nothing to be done. Diffuser is down, seconds burning away, so we'll take the opportunity to have a little bit of a chat before we move on to the attack, start shaping up a plan. Team Secret, they're going to be scratching their head, I think, at this point as to how Outsiders are still in touch. They have felt on top of things, but Outsiders, they are going absolutely nowhere at the minute. They are the immovable object, and interestingly, I know these ones fascinate you, Des. We've got that half-time timeout.
They do. The chance for a reset here going into that second half. Again, maybe to calm down a couple of frustrations from the first half. For Outsiders, as you've commented, I think that 3-3 split will be something they feel, I'd say, happy with given the current situation. Although at the end of the day, they will feel frustrated. Because for me, this could have been 4-2, 5-1 to Outsiders. I'm not at all trying to say that I feel Team Secret didn't play well, because they did. But Outsiders cost themselves a couple of rounds there with some really poor decision-making in the heat at the moment. You know, Diffuser's going down, a player's setting a 1vx, and it's just not quite the right decision-making in the right moment. So I'd understand if they feel frustrated. For Secret, they want to make sure here they can get things off started well, build a bit of momentum, keep themselves going. It's just one of those things where the timing feels a little bit odd maybe to us as viewers, given you are switching sides. But for them, no doubt it's a communication thing or a decision-making thing they want to get corrected.
Very possibly. Let's see how it goes for them then off the back of the timeout. Team Secret come back into the second half on the defence this time, and we sit at 3-3 on the scoreboard. Outsiders just managing to cling on and keep themselves in touch. For me, the next two rounds are particularly important. I've got a feeling that we might see one go either way, and it's actually going to tell us absolutely nothing. But if either of these two teams can win the next two, you sort of feel like, yep, this is going to be their half, and they probably continue forward and get the win. So we are poised to see how that goes over the next 6 minutes or so. The first one will be Church and Arsenal for Team Secret. Presence on the top floor. We've gone old school. We've got the Mozzie. We've got the Mute. Yep. I would expect them to be trying to stick around for at least a minute and a half on that top floor.
This is the old classic SSG run, right? The old Classico in terms of strats, it feels like, Tim. The sort of thing you'd see on this map is normally with a Vigil playing on the ground floor, a Castle to help lock down certain angles as well. But teams have sort of stepped away from playing that full commitment towards it. I think because a lot of the secondary utility they need doesn't really come from that kind of lineup. So changes definitely coming in. You've got the Valkyrie on side to support as well, the Melusi to prevent any sight rushes alongside the smoke, but it does mean they can commit quite a lot towards focusing on the roam as and when they need to.
Impact EMP is going to assist in the opening of that east breach. It's sort of fascinating to watch as well. How much easier is this top floor hold to deal with now that they've got those Impact EMPs? You know, Thatcher is banned out, but it now gives them the opportunity to clear that out. They need to be careful with the IQ on board as well. It's just going to make that job all the more easier. Slevin is still in position up on the top floor. Not anymore, he's not. Sorry, Gaster's curse there. The Trust manages to find him, but Groovy! He goes right out of that window, knows where he's manning, gets the kill onto Dan, and brings us back to 4v4.
And drops himself away as well. Hatches not opened up in the way they were previously. Normally on this roam, you'd leave basically every hatch open, so those defenders running on the top floor have an easy out to get themselves back downstairs. Here, not really the focus. Astro was bracing for a C4 out the window, but the attackers have backed away. So we're at that kind of 90-second mark, Tim. We have gone through a player on either side so far, still in a 4 versus 4. I don't know if I'd call it a success, because my concern now is that Outsiders still have a minute and a half to make use of this Ying, and that is going to be the big difference maker.
Yeah, it really could be, if it's utilised correctly. And if they go in at the same time. One of the things that doesn't always happen with the Ying is the timing that is needed to coordinate the Candelas going in and then moving in to get that diffuser down. That's something that Outsiders need to be particularly cautious of. Sledge is going to work always, just opening up those angles. For the minute it's onto the bottom of main stairs, he'll take the default camera out next, and then he'll just continue his way across. Maybe open a few up inside a kitchen as well, just to prevent them playing underneath there. But does he need to be careful? All but one Nitro has been burned at this point. Astro, he manages to get past you somehow.
There's also a C4, I think, still underneath kitchen where the Sledge was dancing around here. That could turn into a potential freebie there as it comes out. Milan the one taking the damage, but not quite going down. Still, numbers favourite. Oh no, losing another as well. 2 through the same hatch. That should not be happening. Rask on the Candela as well, just not able to do anything off the back of it. Secret shutting down Outsiders' attack before they can even get started, Tim.
As I said, if you're gonna, we heard the Candelas going off, but it was a desperation move at that point, Des. It wasn't part of an attempt at an execute. You've got to be following them in. You've got to be timing them right. There's a lot of coordination that goes behind that utility, and it just wasn't there for them. Team Secret managed to get the win. It was a great hold from them. A couple of disgusting kills up through that hatch. You know, I've no idea how they found one or two of them, particularly Astro onto Pasha. It was an absolute beauty, but that's the round locked out for Team Secret. If you remember, I said at the beginning of that, the next two were important. That's one of them. So if Team Secret can find the next, it puts them in a real good position to potentially take all 3 points.
I mean, I was half joking earlier on about the number of games that we might have to, the number of rounds we'll step through, because as I commented on our last Playday, we had 68 of 75 possible rounds played. If you can't do the maths, potential of 15 rounds. If you go 8-7 in overtime, 5 games, 75 rounds. 68 we got to, so only dropped 7 across the day. So far, we've dropped 3 from the first game because it ended at 12 rounds. This one feels like it could bubble up towards I don't want to say a clean overtime, but it's going to be overtime regardless.
68 out of 75, you say, Des. Was that not the same number we had in the Berlin Major Final?
I think it was, actually. I think you're right.
I think it was the exact same number that we had. Fortunately, they decided last week to give our voices a rest. We do, of course, split the work with the wonderful Emmy and Hap. So it was a little bit easier last week, but still.
I don't think my voice has ever sounded as bad as it did after that final.
Do you remember the recap video? It's beautiful. I love it. I watch it occasionally and it's brilliant.
Fourth wall breakdown for some of the viewers. So they said to us, like, they wanted to do this like they wanted us to record ahead of time before the final. As if the final had ended, being like, oh, what an amazing final. And it all started in map 1. And then Tim's like, no, it started back in group stage. We were going to do it before the final started. We didn't have enough time. So they came and said to us after, as the final was starting, do you guys mind doing it for half an hour after the final is done? And we thought, you know what? 3-4 maps, we'll be done by 8:30-ish. Yeah, sure, we can do that. Obviously, 68 rounds later, they call us over and go, oh, okay, it's time to do it. We're like, guys, we can't talk. Like, listen, we can't talk. So we sit down trying to talk at each other, just croaking like frogs. It was ridiculous. Hilarious, but ridiculous.
Our voices are brilliant on that video. I'll tell you what,
I tell you what, Tim, this all started back in map 1.
What a tournament it was.
That's me and you in an old people's retirement home in about 5 years' time.
All I see there is the picture, the meme of us sat in the corner of the old person. So I'm going, none of them know that we casted the Berlin Major Grand Final.
All right, Grandad, sure, let's get you to
Mixed with the meme of, okay, Grandad, let's get you back to bed.
Let's imagine casting someone bringing you a cup of tea for breakfast or something.
I'll be doing it.
He's pouring the milk. He's done the sugars in, Tim.
Oh, no, he's gone for 2. He's gone for 2, Des.
Oh, that would be...
Shall we get back to casting some
Let's get back to casting some actual siege and not tea being made.
It's Team Secret 4-3 at the minute ahead against Outsiders. They're on the defense. They're going up to the top floor, gym and bedroom. If they get this one locked down, you just feel that it's the advantage they will probably need to get themselves into that 3-point winning position. But Outsiders, so far, they've not been beaten up. They've not been dismayed. They've always found a way back into it. For now, Rask, he's going to be burning off the reinforcements on the East Breach, so they're going to be pushing from both sides. I would imagine he'll probably do the same as Kendrew did and get himself across to the other side to open up the jacuzzi wall as well. Of course, the amount of Maverick that you're seeing is directly in line with those bans that we've got, with Thermite being taken off the board. But interestingly, not using the Ace Selma charges. The Ace is there, but not using the Selma charges for the hard break.
No, most don't bother for the main double walls. It's just easy to go down this sort of path in case there's any electrification that can come through. There's no risk of being electrical tricked out by Kendra, essentially. So I think they'd rather save that for looking at something like out towards Jacuzzi instead, which just features the same sort of risk. And maybe you'll actually see the Maverick move over there first and put the focus on this. Astro trying to get himself out of dodge here, very aware that he's in a risky spot. Takes a couple of shots, but there's no one on the construction window to finish him off.
Halfway through the round, Astro low health, as you said, manages to scurry back to site though and will continue fighting for this one, but Outsiders have done well so far. They've got CCTV cache cleared out, they've got possession of that area, so they can start using those south-sided windows as well. Jacuzzi wall isn't open yet, so the problem that Outsiders have got right now is that Secret can front them up. They know exactly where the push is going to come from for the time being. They've got what looks like a laser gate, I think, on the logistics hatch as well. So a laser gate does. So they know that the push isn't going to come in through there. So right now, Secret can hold this one-dimensional sort of angle towards south-southeast. Outsiders need to change that. They need to get a couple more avenues opened up.
This has been some of the criticism levied against Outsiders, and I think it's very reasonable. Their early round to mid-round can be really slow, but sometimes they just manage to pull things out on the attacking side in a way that makes you go, that should never happen. My concern here is they've got themselves up against quite a few different sort of blockades. Electrification of the mirror window, electrification of Jacuzzi, for example, no real control inside of office. There's just a lot working against them right now. They've kind of got the minimal amount of control. So if they somehow manage to shithouse this round into a win, that just tells you the current state of this game.
Astro manages to shut down Rask. Pasha onto Savage, manages to keep it level. Milon somehow gets himself in onto Groovy as well. 4 versus 3 and a quick turnaround, 14 seconds. And Outsiders need to do something with this diffuser. They need to get that briefcase down on the ground. Pasha, he's got to maneuver himself into a position to do it. He's going to give it a try, Des. Let's see if he can stick it. Sleben sees his opportunity, can't find the man. We've got Astro down. And surely, yes, the plant is stuck. 40 seconds left to go. Sullivan manages to find one. Kendrew gets himself one as well. 2v2.
Tim, they pulled it off. Like I said to you, if they manage to pull these kind of rounds off, it's absolutely ludicrous. Now, Kendrew, laser beam shot onto Milon, but there's still one left standing, Tim, and the problem is he's out on the windows. Dan will know if they come trying to push for this, and I don't think he'll have time. Maybe he will to get Astro back up, but he finds a man as well. That's not the way you wanted this one to go. Astro's left with 20 HP, has got to find his man, but looks away at the wrong time. Dan gets the closeout. Things are pulled all even.
No! What happened for Team C? No, Kendrew! That's so unfortunate. He took so much care getting Astro back up, and then it just seemed kind of strange that he took a big step out to the right. Maybe he was looking for the challenge. He was looking for the peek onto the window. But all he did was just expose himself to that angle and was taken down. And then Astro, for me, again, he sort of went in. It was almost as if he didn't know the challenge had come from the window. He wasn't. And I know that Dan can move, and maybe he's being cautious, you know, in case he's moved on to bedroom window. But you can still ADS onto gym window as you're pushing towards it. You can still be ready for the fight and then move across. As you get around the gym equipment, right, bedroom's my concern. But it just fell apart at the end. I really thought they might do it. But as I said, we found ourselves 4-4 and no closer to knowing who's going to win this one out. Right now, Des, it's anybody's game. Just toss a coin.
Again, it's the kind of rounds that I referenced a little bit in the last game. The rounds where it looks like they're not winnable. You haven't got Jacuzzi control. You haven't got Logi control. Everything is working against you. In fact, just like in the first half when Kendrew managed to plant in behind Bar and Church. You know, just little rounds like that or moments like that I look at and just think, yeah, if a team wants to be top, you've got to be able to capitalise on those lockout opportunities. Yet Secret sort of let Outsiders in there, gave them the one path they really need to get the plant down, and Outsiders took it. So both teams, I'll give it to them on the attacking side, very good at capitalising on mistakes being made by the defenders, but far too many mistakes by the defenders for both sides so far to really show that either team deserves to take the 3 clean points.
Again, quick progress across the top floor. We're going to have the east wall opened up. This time Outsiders are going to be attacking onto Bar and Stage. So again, looking to get hold of similar areas. Cash and CCTV going to be particularly important. See if they can brute force their way in there. Again, Dan is going to do the work with the Rotero drone. That should... Ooh, I don't know if I commit to saying that is passable for them or not. We will see, I've no doubt, as the round progresses, whether that is crouchable. It's going to be right on the boundary. I think the Echo drone of Kendrew will let them know that the soft wall has been opened up. The Yokai in position there to potentially deny a plant onto Stage. If that's where the attempt is going to come in, then Outsiders only really need control of as far as construction. They just need to hold the hatch above, and then they can think about the rest, but they will need to clear out bottom of main stairs.
Well, there we go. The Flores drone starting to rain on through, just taking out what utility they can find. What was tucked under there? I can assume it was the... I thought it might be the bulletproof, but no, I think it was the yokai drone from Kendry. Thank you very much, Easy, for keeping tabs on that way. Clearly, I was not. Still, it's a crucial bit of utility taken away because we've seen, especially from players like Kendry, to be fair, he's one of the OG Echo players who can get them into really good spots, get some really great denials off as well. And here he is moving the second one into position.
Yeah, we've seen it countless times from Kendra, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see it again. Now then, 1 minute left to go. Attention, therefore, needs to be paid to those yokais by outsiders.
Oh,
but
what?
the plant's going down, Des. Are they aware? Out goes an impact DFB. I'm not sure it's going to be sufficient to stop the yokai, but I don't think it can get the line. They've got away with it, Des!
How has that happened? He hasn't even tucked himself in. The yokais could have seen everything, but Kendry got taken out as well. Outsiders, again, have just committed daylight robbery here. Savage, the last one left standing. 2 nades at his feet, he can do nothing. Outsiders take round 9, and this game does not get any more sensible.
I was a little bit worried about my outsiders prediction coming into this when Team Secret took off like a horse at the races, but absolutely not now. I'm thinking outsiders might just be able to do this. Sometimes you just got to hide in plain sight.
I don't know what to say anymore. Okay, again, I'll say what I said before. Attackers spot an opportunity, and they take it very well. But when you've got so many players still left alive, and there's only really one inside a bar that can deny that out, the attackers there, for all intents and purposes, they're not going in for the plant, one player looking to cover the angle in towards bar itself. There were 3 players really involved in the actual execute, and that's what makes it look so raw and simple. Like, there were things going on elsewhere, like Kendry being taken down, for example. But it's still a little bit of a kicker when you're just thinking, surely it's not that simple. Open up front door, walk in, hold F, done. No, it shouldn't be that simple, ever.
Sometimes it's exactly that simple, Des.
No,
Sometimes
Tim.
it is exactly that simple.
Don't say this to me.
Here we go then. 5-4 outsiders. I am quickly scanning, but I dare say, yes, I'm correct. In the lead for the first time. How will Team Secret respond to this? Are they able to fight from behind as outsiders have consistently done throughout this game? It's going to be back to gym and bedroom. We saw it in round 8. It was an outsiders win. As you said, Des, at the time, it was unorthodox from them, and they had to really force their way in there, but they're showing a capability to do that time and time again. Team Secret have got to get this one done. You feel like if outsiders get 6, that the mental might just crumble on the side of Team Secret.
At this point, I don't know what's crumbling first. The defensive lineup or the mental of either team. It's just one of those games where it's going very back and forth. Let's see, though, how Gym and Bedroom goes. We'll reset ourselves. They've had their tactical time out here. There is the opportunity for a bit of change in either side now. They've had that time to talk. 4 reinforcements on the extended hold here out towards the east. So it does mean that you'll see Team Secret committing a couple of players at least out here, if not 3, towards trying to hold, keep, whatever the word is, keep outsiders at bay. That's the one I was after.
Use your words, Des. Use your words.
Use your words. I'm using my words, Tim.
Rask, he's going to be opening that east breach once again. It's been pretty much the starting position for outsiders in many of the rounds so far. In fact, all of them, I think. The attack onto gym and bedroom last time around, as well as the bar and stage. They're just being cautious about the angle potentially being held from inside of the red corridor, but there's not going to be a challenge onto Rask as he's able to make his way across.
What's he
hasn't got the reinforcement yet. He's going to have to go back, and it could be a little bit dangerous to have a look for this.
How's he asked this up then? I think they've got the little line there, tiniest little bit on that side. There we go. Burns out and it drops away. Better. He's no Kendry, Tim, but he did get the job done.
Well, I mean, right now, outsiders, even without a Kendrew, are doing particularly well. In goes the Rotero from Dan. That's going to open up as a soft breach and allow access into that area, which indeed forces Astro out at the top of red stairs. He knows that the Roteros are coming for his shield. He's going to get shut down. What a shot from Pasha.
Right idea from Astro as well. I think he knew that he was going to be challenged there regardless of what he tried to do. So rather than run and try and make it out alive as he had done previously, wanted to go for the challenge. But outsiders have already been there and done this before. Good first early kill. It has taken about 100 seconds to get this side of the map clear, mind you. So now they've got to start thinking about that next push. And Tim, I'll remind you and everyone at home of what happened last time around. They didn't have control of Jacuzzi. They didn't have any control really of Office, yet they still managed to pull this off.
That's what I like from this Outsiders team. They're finding a way. No matter what it looks like, they're getting the job
Tim,
done. They've done it in the last couple of rounds.
They're blindfolded, walking in towards site, and things just work.
And they're winning rounds. It can't always be perfect, but Outsiders are getting the job done. Let's see if they can continue to do so. Selma Charge is going to open up that logistics wall, and it's just going to apply a little bit more pressure. We've seen Team Secret just dropping back into the cubby there. It's going to be Savage's job to try and hold on to things. Rask is going to take a little bit of damage from the Toxic Babe canister. Nitro in hand. This could be a big play.
This will be the play. This will be the kind of thing that wins in the round if we get to that point. Rask is still trying to find his way forwards. Flashbanging out the laser gate here, so always can get himself dropped in as well. We're hoping to find someone touching the bat, but there is no one there. There's a C4 coming out. Is it a little bit late? Maybe, but Rask is marching on through. Finds Savage, who's up nice and close. 2 more inside of the hole, and he's going to tuck in tight and try and make this plant work. Again, Outsiders in the dying 10 seconds find the round.
Brute force is the order of the day, quite simply. Outsiders, 3 rounds in a row. Team Secret have not been able to respond, and they've figured it does. You can see it in them. They just get into that last 15 and saying, you know what, push in, just get aggressive, take the gunfights. Team Secret don't know how to handle it, and that is as we've got to call it at the minute, because Secret have not had a response in the last 3 rounds. Outsiders doing great to, let's be honest, get rounds over the line that they probably shouldn't have won. Given the access that they had, given the positions that they had, they've just found a way. And that, Des, is not an ideal start.
Oh no! It's the Valkyrie as well!
It happens to the best of us.
Oh no! Secret, no! Not like this.
They just wanted it on hard mode.
Tim. Why?
Extreme mode.
This is like playing it on easy, losing time and time again and thinking, oh, surely hard mode will work. That's so unfortunate. I feel for him because it's so reflexively built in. You know what your job is. As soon as you spawn, you're turning, you're opening the rotations. You want to be nice and efficient. But you just don't think for a second to pause and check who's around you. But that is such a killer. A C4 gone, the Valcam's gone, Kendrew's gone, he's been having a pretty good game as well.
Right, I'm going to find the positive.
They'll win this round, though.
I'm going to find the positive. If it had to happen, if you had to pick a site for it to happen on, I feel like Church and Arsenal is not the worst. They've still got a little bit of it. I feel like it now might be a slight overcommitment to the top floor. They've got 2 players up there, Sleben and Astro. A little bit concerned that they don't leave themselves too light on site. Group is in the mix as well. So that is a little bit of a concern. But overall, it's not the worst site in the world to lose somebody at the beginning. Yep, losing the black eye cameras, big loss. Losing the Nitro, big loss. But you can still do it here. I genuinely believe that they can. They can.
No, they've lost another C4, Tim. They have no C4s left.
They can do it.
Okay. I think everyone wants you in their corner at all times, because it doesn't matter what happened, you still have their corner. A company's stock price could have tumbled 90%, and you still be like, they can do it! It's going to bounce! It's okay!
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you're right. I'll always find a way, Des. I love an underdog. People will have noticed over the years I've been casting that I flip-flop from one side to the other, even during the game. Whoever looks like they're losing, I'll support them because I want them to come back and I want the story, and I just get excited by it. Is it likely that Team Secret do this 3v4? Probably not. But is it possible? Absolutely. Like I said, it's not the worst site in the world to have to play short-handed on. Savage is going to get himself up blue stairs. All it's going to take is a little flank like this, pop up, catch somebody inside a lounge. They know he's there, though. I can see from that silhouette. They're watching this angle. They are bullet away. Pasha knows. Ooh, but he's dipped himself away. Maybe he thinks the challenge isn't going to come. There could be an opportunity.
Very possibly. My only nervousness here is around the setup that we have from Outsiders and where the focus goes. They're looking for the hatches. They're getting them opened up. They've got Moto. They've got themselves inside a stock. I imagine Kitchen's also ready. They're still clearing things out. They're definitely playing this the right way too, acknowledging, hey, we've got the numbers advantage here. We don't need to rush this, boys. Take it one at a time. I say that as Groovy is about to potentially dome 2 of them. Looking for the swing onto one. Can't find him just yet, but no, it's Milan to find it first. Who's had a brilliant game so far, playing on that Lion, and it looks to be a 4 versus 2 closeout here for Outsiders.
Yeah, that kill could be decisive at this point. I was supportive of Secret when they were just one man down, but 4v2 with 30 seconds left to go on the basement is not going to be an easy hold. Look at Sleben isolated up there. If the pressure starts coming in through that kitchen hatch, it's going to be difficult for Savage to help him because he's only got short range guns. He's got a shotgun and an SMG. They are not great at long range. If Outsiders can isolate and deal with either of these, it's going to be a tough fight for them to come back from. But time's running out, Des. They're not making a decision. They're not going in anywhere here. Milon does manage to get Sleben. Pasha in the nick of time. Final second gets his man. And that is going to be Outsiders clinging on throughout the game to close it out with a 7-4 victory.
Why do they do this to me, Tim? There's like 2 seconds on the clock and it's still 4v2 and I'm like, boys, are we going? Are we moving? Hello? You notice the starts at 0, right? But regardless of how chaotic the game was at points, it's Outsiders still walking away with those 3 points. The crucial ones, no doubt, that both teams are fighting for, because with that at least, Outsiders temporarily jump into 4th place.
They do, and a great win for them. We've got a couple of those games today where teams are in a similar position in the league, and so we're going to see a little bit of this sort of leapfrogging up and down the table. It's going to happen. But Outsiders, they need to focus more on that specific performance, and for me, I'm not saying it was good, but what I'm saying is that the resilience and perseverance was. They were getting beat up to begin with. They kept themselves in it, kept themselves in touch, and then managed to get the job done. So, well played.
Like I said, for me, it was opportunity spotting from the attackers, really, and identifying very crucial holes or missteps being set up by the defenders that ultimately let both teams get rounds. Outsiders, they just found far more of them, even if those holes were often discovered in the last 5 seconds of the round, more often than not. We'll go to a quick break. When we come back, the desk will break it down for you.